There's one part in this book where you talked about in your depression, there was a presence that sat with you in the room. And then you said, after you were kind of better, you said, go away. There was more to that story that I wanted to hear. Can you talk about that a little bit?
It was when I was in my late 20s. I went through a personal tragedy, and it was a very, very, very difficult time in my life. And I worked with a really brilliant psychiatrist, and I was a student of the Course in Miracles. It was all quite amazing. And I felt during that time, very painful year, and it felt like my skull had been smashed into thousands of pieces. And very slowly, very surely, it came back together. And the two things I wanted to talk about in the book were, if you do see your pain of a depressing time, in the context of spiritual growth, miraculous changes can happen during those times. I know after that year, my career started soon thereafter. Something came into my head when my skull came back together. Is that how it felt? Something was in here that hadn't been there before. And I've read so many stories of people like that. That's why if I had just been treated like I was, like if I had been
chronically ill. Or
or
numbed out.
Which was certainly offered.
Right.
So during that time, and why would you look to a corner of the society to heal you during a time like that if that corner of the society doesn't even acknowledge the soul? Why would you look to them to solve a spiritual crisis? It's a crisis of your soul, the dark night of the soul. The other thing that you're referring to there is that I did have a sense of a kind of mystical presence with me during that time. I go into it in the book. And then when I started to feel better, I still felt this presence. And it had been very comforting to me when I was going through it. But when my life started coming back together, I felt it kind of encroaching. And I had said during that time of my horror, I'd said a prayer, dear God, if you give me my life back, then I will do anything you want for the rest of my life. But then once I started to get better, I was like, thank you very much. I really appreciate that you were here and that you helped me, but like, I'm really cool now, and I know that you have a lot of people you could help. I was like dismissing God and telling him he could go now. And then I tell in the book about a daydream, hallucination, whatever, vision, whatever I had when I was at a cocktail party one night. And I wandered into this room, and there was a group of men, a small group of men, and they were all in tuxedos, and they had drinks in their hands. And one of them turned to me. This was a few months after I'd said, if you would just give me my life back, I will do anything you want. But then I had started dismissing God, like whatever this presence is, like kind of creepy now. And this man turned to me, and obviously I was daydreaming. It was like the visage of Jesus. It was a God thing. And he looked at me, and without any sense of attitude, any sense of reproach, any sense of anything other than completely neutral, he said, I thought we had a deal.
So what did that do for you?
It changed. That was it for me. I knew that and when people ask me, how did your career start? I always think of that night at that cocktail party. That was the moment.
That's very touching. It is beautiful. Thank you.